I'm excited about today's word. To be honest, I'm really acquainted with the word today, and what that just simply means is I toiled with this word, and I know that it is for you because I had a plan, I had an idea of what I was going to release today. And as I began typing and I began just talking to the Lord and typing and talking and typing, the Lord literally right before my eyes changed my entire message, changed my entire plan, and gave me a complete different direction to go in, which lets me know that it is a prophetic word, and it also lets me know that it is tailor-made for those who are here today. Tailor-made. And so I would just ask that you give me your attention as best as you can. If you are on social media, before we get off social media, if you could go to our page, share this lesson today, because I think it's going to be one that's going to bless people all around. And so I want you to go with me to the book of Joshua. Let's go to the book of Joshua, and we're going to start in chapter 1. Chapter 1 in the book of Joshua. While you're getting that, I want to thank God for all of our volunteers, all of you who serve in different capacities in the ministry, all of you who have done your part to ensure that we could execute today in excellence. Also want to thank those that came to the Lunch and Learn yesterday. We had a group that came and wanted to learn more about our church, and we were really excited to meet them and get to know them. We had a lot of fun on yesterday afternoon. Have we found Joshua chapter 1 yet? Here's what the word of the Lord says. Joshua chapter 1, verse number 3. It says, I will give you every place where you set your foot, as I promised Moses. I will give you every place where you should set your foot, as I promised Moses. Now let's read that together. It's only one verse. 1, 2, 3, read. I will give you every place where you set your foot, as I promised Moses. The word of the Lord is already blessed. Today, my subject is I've got cold feet. I've got cold feet. And we have really been dealing with this subject for a few weeks now, and it's going to tie really nicely into this idea of identity. Somebody say identity. And so a few weeks ago, I taught from the sermon, I'm tired of running. And many of you were blessed by that. Seemingly, many of you were able to identify with that. And the reality is that God has called many of us to do a lot of things, and many of us are still in the posture of running from God. And the reality is today is that when we look at our featured text, we eavesdrop on a conversation between God and Joshua. Joshua has been the prodigy of Moses. He's walked with Moses as Moses walked with the Lord. Being that Joshua had walked so closely with Moses, it was clear that upon Moses' death, he would be the clear successor. God pulls Joshua to the side and urges him, now that Moses is dead, there's still work to be done. Moses has fought a great fight, but I intend to keep my word to Moses, but I'm going to do it through you. He tells Joshua then, he says, gather all the people and prepare them to cross the Jordan River. Tell them we're about to cross over. Shout at somebody, tell them we're about to cross over. Now, keep in mind, Joshua has always been one who has been in the background. Joshua has always been one who has never gathered or garnered a lot of attention. Joshua has been the faithful aide or the faithful servant, the faithful one that has been walking aside his leader. And now he's being called, or tapped rather, to take the main spot. The Lord tells him, he says, gather all the people, prepare them, because when you cross the Jordan, there is some land that belongs to Moses and his people. And as a matter of fact, what's going to happen is that I'm going to let you inherit this land because I promised it to Moses. Am I making sense so far? And so then God tells him something else that's very important. God says to him, he says, as a matter of fact, not only am I going to give you the land, but every place that your foot shall tread, I'm going to give you dominion. Somebody shout dominion. And so God promises him, he says, everywhere that you go, every place that you tread your feet, I'm going to give you dominion. Everywhere that you go, you're going to have the victory. Everywhere you go, your enemies will already be defeated. Everywhere that you go, you will not starve, you will not be hungry, because I've already prepared for you wherever you go. Wherever you go, you're going to have influence, you're going to have great success, you're going to have the victory. Wherever you choose to plant your feet, God says, I'm going to give you the victory. But although God gives Joshua such a profound promissory note, we know that Joshua still has cold feet. How do you know this, Pastor Jay? He's been given a direct order from the Lord. He's been given a direct promise from the Lord. The Lord has told him, you already have the victory. The Lord has told him, you already are going to be successful. The Lord has told him that when you get there, I have already defeated your enemies. But Joshua still has cold feet. How do you know, Pastor Jay, that he has cold feet? Watch this. Go with me to Joshua chapter 1, verse number 6. Go with me, Joshua chapter 1, verse number 6. Y'all there? Okay, watch this. It says, be strong and courageous. Y'all see that? I'm going to say that again, and I'm going to stop there. It says, be strong and courageous. You got it? Let's go to verse 7. Verse 7 says what? Be strong and very courageous. Y'all got it? Go to verse 9. Have I not commanded you? Do what? Be strong and courageous. Okay, go to verse 18. Whoever rebels against your word and does not obey it, whatsoever you may command them will be put to death. Watch this. Only do what? God is giving him, watch this, confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. Listen, I am going to be with you. Your only job is to be strong and courageous. I believe that God has given some of you, or is trying to give some of you, that same prophetic declaration today. He's saying, I have already blessed your ideas. I have already blessed what you're going to do. I've already blessed what you're going to do in every place your foot shall go. He says, watch this, but your job is to be. He says there are going to be times when it doesn't look like it's going to come together. There are going to be times where the people are not going to receive you. There are going to be times, Joshua, watch this. There are going to be times where they won't obey what you have to say. They won't agree with what you have to say. But the Lord says, I'm going to deal with those who don't want to cooperate with you. He says, you don't have to get worried. You don't have to get stressed out. He said, but the people that don't want to cooperate, the people that do not want to bless you, he says, I've already dealt with them. You got one job, Joshua. You got one job, and your one job is to do what? Be strong and courageous. Okay. Okay. He says, you have to be strong and courageous. But then Joshua, like many of us, watch this, he's walked with Moses. He's seen miracles. He's seen great blessings. But Joshua, like most of us, have come to the realization, watch this, I know God can do it, but I'm not sure he's going to do it for me. I know that God is able to do it. I'm just not sure if he's going to do it for me. I know God is a miracle working God, but I'm just not sure that he wants to bless me that way. I know that God is a supernatural healer, but I'm just not sure if he's going to heal me. Anybody ever been there before where you know that God is real, but you just don't know if it can happen for you? And so we get to this point where we explore this concept of cold feet. This idea of having a promise, but not necessarily being ready or willing to walk it out. The best and most relevant example that I can come up with is a bride and a groom. It's their wedding day. Are y'all with me so far? Am I boring you? It's their wedding day. They've courted, and they've had a great courtship. The gentleman has found his favor, and he gets down on one knee like they did in the old school and proposes. Y'all with me? He proposes and says, I'm making you a promise that I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Y'all with me so far? They then go and they call all their family and friends. And they tell all their family and friends, there's a wedding coming. We want you all to attend. They go and they search for a venue. They hire caterers to feed all these people. Are y'all hearing me today? The bride goes shopping for her dress. She finds the perfect dress. It's got everything she ever wanted. The groom finds his nice tuxedo. They invite all the people. They buy all the food. They show up at the church. Are y'all with me so far? She has gone from a girlfriend to a bride. He's gone from a boyfriend to a groom. Are y'all hearing me so far? And the reality is that he's given her a promise that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you. But the thing is that in some instances, the bride gets cold feet. The groom gets cold feet. They start to get nervous and anxious. Now, mind you, stay with me, y'all. Mind you, they've already courted. Mind you, they've already sent out the invitations. Mind you, they paid the deposit to the church and they showed up. Mind you, they paid the caterers to make all this food. And then after all that, we still have people who get cold feet while they're preparing to walk down the aisle. Why? How do you get cold feet when you already have a promise? And many of you, watch this, are proverbial brides and grooms, but you aren't becoming husbands and wives. Because just because she's a bride don't make her a wife. I'm about to teach. Listen, just because you show up at the wedding, just because you show up at the church, just because you have the dress and the caterer, just because you have invited all your family and friends, you still got to make it down the aisle. So there's so many of us today that God has given you a promise. Your identity is changing. You're going from the season of the girlfriend to the bride to now God is calling you to be a wife. Catch the metaphor, y'all. He's taking you from levels and levels and levels, and even though he's promised you and he's set the stage for you, he can't walk down the aisle for you. Many of us are nervous and anxious, afraid. Watch this. This is going to mess you up. And what's so sad is you're afraid about something that you all told God you privately wanted. So you prayed, you talked to God about it. You and God developed a relationship and a rapport concerning it. You and God went on a courtship concerning it. God then proposes and said, I've chosen you to do it. Now God says it's about to happen. Now you got cold feet. What you trying to do? What you gonna do? See, some of you are hesitating. God says it's right in front of you. I've made the way. I've set the stage. Now all you have to do is walk it out. Some of you are brides and grooms and you're in your dressing room just boo-hoo crying. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I can do this. Some of you grooms pacing the floor. Man, I don't know, man. I should have went to see a grandma, man, because I don't know what she gonna look like in 20 years, man. Man, I hope she can cook, man. Man, when y'all think I should do this, y'all sure? Pacing the floor, nervous, scared, afraid. God says, I'm ready to change your name. I'm ready to change your name, but watch this. But accepting the ring doesn't change your name. Accepting the ring doesn't change it. You got to accept the vows. because some of you want the ring, but you don't want the vows. You want the ring, but the vows make you intimidated. The ring gets you, girl, look at me. You all on Instagram, look at me, girl. Look at me, check me out, bling, bling. He put a ring on it, and you showing off on Instagram, but you don't want the vows. The vows got you shook. Vows got you intimidated. Vows got you in fear. Vows has you worried and pacing the floor at night. The vows got you second guessing. I want the wedding, but I'm not sure if I want for better or for worse. in sickness and in health. See, this thing goes much deeper than a celebration. It goes much deeper than a party because you have to walk it out. I tell people all the time, you don't need a church for a wedding, you need a church for the marriage. You're going to catch that later. Because you got to walk this thing out. God says, Joshua, I'm going to give you every place your foot treads. And Joshua is frozen, afraid to take a step. He's got cold feet because God has been telling him and prepping him all along that you got to be strong and courageous to make it through this. Can I go a little deeper? Y'all take a seat for a minute. I got some things I need to show you in this. So let's follow so we can fully understand this, y'all. We have to follow Joshua's calling. We got to follow Joshua's calling. See, Joshua, I told y'all before, Joshua walked with Moses, walked closely with Moses. We know that Joshua was chosen first to create an army to defeat the Amalekites. That's the first thing we know about Joshua. The second thing we know about Joshua is that when Moses went up to Mount Sinai, Joshua went with him. Joshua went with him because Joshua was his aide and his servant. We know that when Moses needed 12 spies to spy out the land of Canaan, we know that it was Joshua and Caleb that came back with a positive report out of all the other spies. Are y'all with me so far? We know that when Moses came down from Mount Sinai and the people were living in all types of riotous living and Moses broke the tablets of the law, we know that Joshua was the first one to see Moses lose his cool. Are y'all with me so far? But watch what happens, y'all. Watch what happens. Go with me to Deuteronomy chapter 31. Deuteronomy chapter 31. Let's go there real quick. I need to show you all Joshua's calling in full because you may be able to relate to it. Y'all there yet? If you're not there yet, let's go to the screen. Deuteronomy 31. Now watch what happens, y'all. Moses has received the word from the Lord. Moses, you're about to die. You need to raise up a successor. Here's what the scripture says. It says, Moses summoned Joshua and said to him, watch this, y'all, in the presence of all Israel, what did he say? Be strong and courageous. So this is starting way back before he even received the exact call to lead them into the promised land. He's getting this confirmation over and over and over and over again. Y'all with me so far? Go with me to verse 23 in Deuteronomy 31 and 23. Y'all there? And so after Moses gives him that command, here's what happens. The Lord gave this command to Joshua. What did he tell him to do? So over and over and over and over again, Joshua is receiving this word to be strong and courageous. Now, y'all, keep in mind, I'm almost finished, that Joshua was comfortable in the background. He was comfortable not being seen. He was comfortable being supportive. He was comfortable without having any attention on him. He was comfortable just being the one that didn't have to worry about all the responsibility that comes with where God is trying to take him. He's seen what the people have put Moses through. Y'all gonna get this in a minute. He had watched Moses suffer through frustration. He's watched Moses literally be penalized for his calling. Y'all don't hear this. See, Moses probably would have had an okay life, so he would think, until he was called to be the leader of all these people. And the people aren't cooperating with him. He goes up to get the law for the people. He comes back down from getting the law, and the people are worshiping false gods. He said, I won't go but a few days. What's going on here? Gets so mad he strikes the rock. Joshua's just sitting there watching all of this. Joshua says, you know what? I don't want any parts of this. I don't want any parts of this. And then what makes it so bad is after Moses gave his whole life to the calling. He gave his whole life to the calling. God told him, he said, look, you gave your whole life to the calling, but I'm still not going to let you see the Canaan land. I'm not going to let you see it. You got to go up in the mountain and look at it from a distance. And Joshua sees all of this. And the only solace he can find is be strong. Be strong, my brother. Be courageous. In other words, hang in there. It's going to be all right. And he keeps hearing this word over and over and over again. Are y'all with me so far? And so then Joshua has the moment that some bride and grooms have. His name is about to change. And then this sense of finality hits his spirit. This sense of, I'll never be the same again. See, what many of you don't realize is that you're much more afraid of success than you are of failure. You know why you are much more afraid of success than failure? The reason why you are much more afraid of success than failure, because once you succeed, you get rid of all of your excuses. See, as long as you don't really succeed, you can always lean on your excuses. Are y'all here today? Once you succeed, you can no longer play it safe. Once you succeed, you prove, watch this, that your bloodline and your generational curses, you can't use that as an excuse anymore. Because once you succeed, it proves that you can do it. And now that you know you can do it, watch this, many of you, it will haunt you if you're not ready to change your last name. Because I can't just be this temporarily. I can't just be a part-time husband. I can't change my mind about it. I wake up in the morning and now I don't get to have an off day. I don't get to just have a day where I don't feel like being a wife. I don't get to have a day where I don't feel like being a husband. It's final. And so many of us are wrestling with this. We're struggling with this because we like the comfort of being able to wake up with the option. Will I be great today? Will I be average today? Will I be all right today? Will I just not be feeling it today? And many of us, we like that comfort.
Yes, we do.
And so we are wrestling, stalling, delaying, buying time because we're not exactly sure that we want to face these vows every day. Somebody say it's final.
It's final.
I'm almost finished, y'all. We have cold feet because I'm becoming a person I've never been, going to a place I've never gone. So I'm wrestling in my spirit about how do I accept this decision when all the Lord is telling me is to go, be strong, be courageous. Am I making sense? Yes. And so the next thing that we got to realize is that once we identify that we have cold feet, a few things, the finality of it, and then it's the familiarity of everything that you know. The familiarity of everything that you've known. Are y'all with me so far? Did you know that in many cases, for many of us, only about 6 to 7 steps are the difference between you waking up 2 or 3 hours earlier to pray, meditate, read, get your day started right. What are you saying, Pastor Jay? From your bed to your shower, it's just 6 steps, 5 steps for some of us. But how many of us struggle for years hitting the snooze button? I'm not ready to release this comfort. This bed feels so good. It's time to wake up. This bed feels so good. You roll over, get the pillow right. Alarm go off again. Snooze, turn over again, get it right. Alarm go off again, snooze, get it right, come out, get it comfortable again. Don't you know it's just 5, 6 steps. Roll out of bed, walk to the shower. If you can just make it to the shower, you're going to be all right. Consider how much power those 6 steps have. How much power do those 6 steps have? The same thing is happening in the spirit realm for you. It's just a small distance. It's a small distance between who you are today and who God is calling you to be in 2020. And the reason why you keep hitting the snooze button is because you are so familiar with this space of comfort. It's so comfortable The Lord is saying, be strong, be courageous, let go of the familiarity, and embrace where I'm taking you. Now, here's where I get excited and encouraged, is that where he's taking me, he's already given me dominion. Where he's taking you, you've already got dominion. The key is, can you just throw those covers off and take that first step onto that cold floor on that winter morning? Can you take that first step and then take another step and then take another step and then take one more step? And the Lord says, I'm going to give you dominion. If you can start every day this year with purpose, wake up a little earlier, fight the urge to hit the snooze button, fight the urge to stay familiar and stay comfortable. Am I boring y'all? Be intentional about everything that you do, because the Lord is telling you today, telling you prophetically, I'm giving you every place that your foot shall tread. Don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged. Don't have cold feet. I'm giving you the victory.